remote person-centered care tab. There will be a called leadership tab, because called workforce are the future of aged care, and they are disempowered and not able to use their voices inside that space. So we'll be mentoring called workers. There'll be psychosocial supports. Josephine Tite will be running that department of how to basically break down those barriers and look after yourself while in that space as well. And there might be other tabs, like I specialise in community inclusion for people with dementia. So we will teach everybody in one space how to do that. But we'll also be highlighting the amazing work that other people are doing from around the world. So you don't have to go searching for it yourself. You can sit there in a nursing home and go, I just want this to be better. Yep, we can definitely do that. I just want to know how to do something differently. And you can just go straight to this website and it'll teach you that in Japan, they're using a water fountain to make people turn direction instead of walking out the door. You might find Michael Verde's Memory Bridge workshops in that tab. You might see the work that Teepa Snow's doing. And it can also just be you submitting something amazing that you're doing as a carer in Denmark who doesn't know how to share something brilliant, because this platform is an egoless platform where we all get together and change rapidly and become bigger than the system. So the system then has to listen and change around us. So I think that's a bit of an overview. I hope I've got it all out right. We're very, very excited to try and be the change. And I've got a new saying, which is change or be dragged. And I really think that the broken aged care system works for a select few. And it's time for the other players to now stand up and be counted as a voice. And make this space a whole new playing field, because our elders have no more time to waste. They have no one in their corner. And there's the slide. Yay, fantastic. Oh, amazing. I'm so glad that you're liking it so far. I can't wait to get all of your feedback. The other thing, we're all here today so you can give us feedback before we build the website, which we launched in August. What do you want to see in this website? What would make sense to you? What's really lacking? And we can kind of collate some of your feedback, because we want this to be a group where every single member has a voice. We're just the ones manipulating the data and making sure it gets to all of your inboxes. But we want to hear from each and every one of you, and that's how you will become part of Open the Doors. And also by sharing with other people and encouraging them to become members of Open the Doors as well. So the founders, there's myself. I've done enough talking, so you can see me there. Maury, Creative Therapeutic Engagement Specialist from Sydney, near Sydney, Newcastle. Monique Pochran, the amazing networker extraordinaire from Dahlia Dementia Guidance in the middle. Rhiannon Tui, Grants and Research Coordinator, who brings in lots of amazing money to Community Home Australia by finding all of these amazing grants and opportunities, and is just an artistic whiz in so many ways. Sonal, who I mentioned before, Clinical Service Manager. Rodney Gillette, he might be here later with us today, but he's my amazing business partner who allowed me to take up my work time by developing this organisation. So there'll be a lot of, yay, Rodney, and we'll be funding some of that behind the scenes internet and website development as well. Saga IT, Josephine, who you'll get to hear from possibly soon, founder and wellbeing consultant at Positivity Centre in Canada. Lisa Roger Owens, dementia specialist, and Aaron Richardson on the right, who works for Aspen Aged Care, which is a global medical service that does incredible things around the world. So that's the founders. Is it still me? I think I might pass over to who's talking.
We just got the door openers, Nicole.
The door openers. This is you guys. Sorry, we've done this. Well, Rhiannon's done this incredible video, and this is where you all come into it. You're the ones that are going to be opening the doors for our elders and people living with dementia, and all of the people that you would like to see a different future for. So, yay! This is fabulous.
That's so exciting. Well, from you, Nicole, we're going to be passing over to you, Maury. You ready, Maury? You there? This is the time for everybody to ask some questions if you've got anything of Maury. I don't know if we've got any in the chat. I'll just go to the chat.
I have some here.
Excellent.
And Cora Wilson is asking, Nicole, will Open the Doors extend to community aged care? I just wanted to say that, Nicole, you may want to answer this, but obviously I believe, Nicole, that this is open to any form of elder care. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Everybody who is receiving elder care around the world is part of Open the Doors. So yes, available for community care. We can definitely cater for that as well.
There's a few about the reception. Oh, there's a few from Sydney. Thrilled to be part of the movement. We're all thrilled. This is so good. Are there any other questions? If there's anything burning, but I suppose while we're waiting for some questions to come in, that you'd said, Nicole, that the website will be launched in August, and we're calling for ideas for what everyone would like to see on that. So please submit away when the meeting's done, and let's keep in the loop and fill that space. There is a question there. At age 62, Maury is still very handsome. How is it? I'll take that one. Botox, and there's a fair bit of plastic. But look, let's not get bogged down in that one. And if you don't send in some questions, I'm going to talk about myself.
And you do that so well. And I just wanted to interject because I got so excited I might have missed something that this is for global thought leaders to get together, and it is for everybody. You can be you can be the Prime Minister of Australia, or you can just be working in an aged care home in Wagga Wagga. This is a totally egoless platform of change makers to rapidly share with each other. Yes, I prefer elders as well. Yes, we can do that, Diane. I'm so big on language. I love that. Yeah. And if we don't speak now, then everybody will copy the same thing. So yes, perfect.
Josephine, do you have a thought on language? Because I know that we all, do scuttle with different forms. I use elders myself, and there are some that prefer other terms. Do you have a terminology that you prefer?
Well, I like to ask people what they prefer themselves. That's my person-centered lens of looking at it. But often in Canada, we'll say older adults. But I love elders. I've also heard people saying they don't like elders. So, I don't know. I think there needs to be flexibility. And I think people need to accept that we aren't meaning to be offensive in our language, but respectful. And having open conversations about that. And if you're talking to someone who doesn't want to be referred to as an elder, then note it and change it.
Yeah, it is tricky because we're always talking about the other person, and so sometimes we struggle with terms, and words make worlds, as we know. But it's a good point, and it's good to ask. Look, there's a question here, or it's probably a comment from Susie Singercut. Hello, Susie. I'm so glad you're here. Not looking for an answer now, but wondering how we throw in it over all the different systems from different countries, as systems are all slightly different. Aaron, is that something that you would have a comment on, or?
Not from other countries, so to speak, but certainly I understand there's a vast difference in what we have in Australia with regards to our delivery, even just across zones like rural and remote. Which is quite challenging. So I could imagine that there would be vast differences between some of the states, but that's what we're here to break down, I guess, isn't it?
I was thinking that in relation to that, and like certainly in regional we see differences, but to talk about Susie's lovely metaphor there of throwing the net, I think that's what we hope to do, to coordinate and talk about different methodologies and strategies we use and share those widely. And obviously sometimes there are going to be differences between the systems, but I think we definitely hope to be that net. Anyone else want to add to that?
Yes. Oh, sorry, Maury. I was just going to say there's a couple of hands up as well. So
yeah, going via the chat. Yeah, hands up.
I'll just add to that I'm hoping that Open the Doors also links people from different countries to speak to people from their own countries to start problem solving internally. So people from Canada might branch off and run Open the Doors Canada. You can do what you like with it. It's just we're just meshing everybody together that's really trying to make change in this space and giving them a platform to even know who you are. Like, I'm still meeting people 15 years in, and I research a lot of people, and I'm going, I never knew you existed. This is incredible. So I'm sure that there'll be an opportunity for the US to talk to the US and take ideas from Europe, though. Europe's leading the way, and in Australia, we're not even looking to Europe. So it's about cross-country, but also working with people in your own countries to try and bring some of those initiatives into your systems. So this really isn't like we're not here to solve it for everybody, but we're here to make you all understand what each of you is doing in a different space and give you a connective. We're the connectors, open the doors of the connective tool to increase those conversations. Now we've got Gwenda put a hand up, and then Diane Gibson as well.
So Gwenda, would you like to go off mute? Yeah.
Thanks. I just want to go back to the language. The official language of the Department of Health and Aged Care is older people, older person, older people. That's the official language. They discussed it with NATSIAC, several of the other Aboriginal organisations, and it was decided that First Nations people prefer the term elders, but for the rest of Australia, generally it's older people, older persons is what the Department of Health and Ageing and the Minister have signed off on. And while I'm having my thing on language, never are we consumers. We are all participants.
Oh, no. Thank you. Never consumers.
I just wrote down consumers because that was a word that really struck me. I mean, if we become consumers, then we're just consuming, and I don't know why that term ever came into elder care. So I just
if it is consumer, I think everybody needs their money back.
Very good. Diane, thank you, Gwenda. Thank you for that. Diane, I think you've got your hand up there. Diane Gibson.
Yes, Diane Gibson. Can't even say Diane G because there's two of us. My comment is on language as well. And it is to say that I personally prefer to be, my preference is to be referred to as an older person, or indeed even a person. Quite often, if you read through something you've written or something that someone else has written, you could just simply say person. And I really think that's an important point. I have a hierarchy of things I detest. At the top of that hierarchy is the elderly, and indeed elderly people. I personally don't like either elders or seniors. For me, those terms group people into a homogenous mass for a start. And then I ask the question of when does that start? Is it 60? Is it 70? Whatever. So we all know it's a continuum. Nicole, I have to say, I shudder every time I hear you say elder care, but I shudder with love. I shudder with love.
At least it's loving shudder. It's very hard to find the right word for everybody to empower. I love what Josephine said. If I could meet everyone individually, I could call them what they wanted to be called.
I agree, and I respect that very much. Just wanted to put that in. Yeah. Also, it is a strong point about the Australian government. We should also note that the United Nations and WHO in the sort of international movements refer to elders, the elderly, and seniors as ageist language. So just something to think about.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a debate that we should really have at some point. And that's a really important one. We do know that the term elder abuse came many years ago, and that is language that was preferred then. Can we move on, because we will run out of time, but I really think that would be a great language.
It would be a great webinar, Maury. We're going to be doing recordings with people from around the world and asking for a series of different topics and interviews. So maybe we could table that for one of our, get a couple of founders, and we're looking for you. If you've got something you want to chat with, we'll record that and share it with the world. So I love that debate, because we can take it somewhere else, as we can. Why should we have IPC and infection control, and person-centered care, things like that.
And I will be shut down. I accept the rule. Let's just remember that there is a movement amongst First Nations people to see the use by non-First Nations people of the term elders as cultural appropriation. And I'm stopping there.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
let's put that debate on there. And there's no shutdown here, but we need to have a few other questions answered. So I think we definitely want to have that discussion.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think we that's important. If I could move on, because we've got time for one more question.
Dan had,
Cohen.
yeah.
Dan. Hello, Dan.
Great. Hi. Thanks, Maury. Nice meeting everybody. To me, the strongest point, there are many efforts going on in many countries to improve care. And yes, there's best practice embedded within a country, between countries, and there's a lot to learn on a one-to-one. But what I find is mostly that's best practice people talking to best practice people. And the measurement I do of the totality of the people who have some form of dementia, what percentage are we reaching with anything that's really best practice desirable, right? And that's an issue that varies from country to country globally. But the comment that Nicole made, we want to be bigger than the system in order to change the system. And that's the biggest challenge. We can continue to operate on sort of multiple levels. Yes, we want to share best practice because there are amazing things different people are doing. But until we figure out this nut of how do we move the system, which is inherently resistant to change, it's going to be glacial. It's only going to be here and there. It's going to be based on who's in charge, and turnover is going to stop it. And so there are a lot of big issues around making big change, and so that's sort of what's our global master plan. Now, the UN and World Health Organization have the decade of healthy aging, ending 2030, but there's no real dementia plan in there. So anyway, so we have to figure out how to engage all the different groups and efforts that are operating, aware of each other. Groups that are run by persons living with dementia, all sorts of care professionals trying to better their practice in the services. So I don't know. I get excited when we talk about being bigger than the system, because that's the ultimate challenge. Once we get there, then if you can change policy, things move faster. The money comes after policy change. Until we change policy, we will not get the money. We will not have the consistency of application of best practice for all people who would benefit from our best efforts. That's all.
Thanks, Dan. And that, I'm going to take that as a comment, because I think that encapsulates some really good discussion for us in the future. We are, or I am, out of time with the Q&A. Is there any of the founders that just wanted to respond to what Dan had just said? I think it was pretty comprehensive.
I just want to say thank you for adding that, because you articulated it so much better than I could, and it's really what Open the Doors is about. We become bigger than the system, so the legislators then invite themselves to these meetings to find out what is actually happening and where they need to go. So, and that's exactly what I found when I started realizing that the whole world is working in silos. Incredible things are happening, not always shared, because there might be some monetary gain from these projects as well. So they're just, we're making little pockets change, but we're not all meshed together. So I really, really appreciate your comments. That's exactly what this is trying to be. Did any of the other founders want to please say something?
I was going to say we had one more hand up. Diane Gatto had her hand up. But I just wanted to add myself before you start, Diane. It's just that's about connecting. There's to have got from a little idea from 2 weeks ago to having over 100 people. The hunger's there for us to connect globally and to make change or make movement globally, and we can do it 150%. We can do it. Anyway, I'll pass up to you, Diane, if you're there still.
Yeah, thank you, Monique. I just wanted to say, talking on Dan's point, the challenge we have is that we have had a inner drive to make the change happen. But if we don't have support from the higher echelons of government, and, here in Australia, we change governments every 4 years. So, things that get unravelled and stop. So what we need is bipartisan support. And we need someone who can sponsor this alliance who has gravitas. That is, who has a lot of power and people listen to them because they are influential leaders in government, in the community, to help drive this change. Otherwise, we're just going to be hitting against a brick wall and glass ceilings, you know, ad nauseum, and it's just going to wear us out. I've seen so many initiatives start and stop. You know, people have got their heart in the right place, but we really do need that support from government and larger communities, from influential leaders.
And that will come when we start doing meetings like this, and they realise that there's a wave of change coming. The thing about Rodney and I and my team, we're very, very good at getting attention from legislators. We're very connected to ministers. We can get journalists to write articles. We've got big voices, and we're not going anywhere. I'm not quite burnt out yet at 46. I've got a lot of pep in my steps. So I appreciate what you're saying, and we will find those change makers. I actually don't know if it's possible in that direction. So I've just decided that we need to infiltrate from the inside out, and you can still make positive change without legislators being involved. I firmly believe that, because we are collectively bigger than them. We really are, but we will find those people along the way. We've got, you know, support from some of the universities as well, and I'm sure that these amazing 117 people that have joined so far will also be very well connected. And we've got some incredible people that are part of this. They're not here today, who are movers and shakers as well. So it's about building momentum, Diane, and I understand what you're saying. The aged care is an inherently broken system around the world, and it really reflects about how we feel about our older adults, older people, and our elders. I'm trying to use all the words now. But yes, I really do think that without a strong, united platform, there's many, many groups, but they don't know each other. And also somebody said that you are a little bit, well, did you say that comment about yourself, Maury, that you still look good at 62, or did someone else write that? I'm feeling like you were ageist. You can't say still looks good.
No, they meant like despite like all the years that they've known me, it's still amazing. But anyway, let's move on. Otherwise, I'm just a comments. There was a hand up. I just wanted to say on that also another point is when people put in really good systems and structures and strategies that can't be ignored, I do think that governments and policymakers will tend to listen a little bit more. And I do take your point that we need those. We need to use policy and we need support. But I think that once we show, and I think Community Homes Australia is showing how that is done. I think we show the way. We might have a little bit more, but look, that's whole nother discussion which we should have. AMK, you've got your hand up.
No, I do. Thank you very much. And just quickly, I want to share a very important lesson I learned during a brief sales career. When you want to bring people over to your side and it involves money, you have to put a dollar sign on what you're doing. So for instance, I take care of my mother at home, and I can actually calculate the amount of money I have saved our healthcare system and our taxes by all of the falls that she has not had, all of the hospitalizations she has not had, all of the health care that I've given her that has saved her from being in the hospital. And at some point, attaching dollar figures to the care, whether it's home or in a well-run facility, that we are saving in the long run. In other words, it's like organic food. You either pay now or you pay later, right? And I think people get lost a lot of times in these kinds of discussions, and they forget that when money talks, and I hate to say it, but money talks. And if we can attach a dollar value to what we're doing and what it's going to do in the long run for the economy, then a lot more people who only care about money are going to listen.
That's a really good point. That really is. How much money are we saving globally by connecting, you know, this project together? Might be a bit hard to make sense of that at first, but you're absolutely right. They listen when there's a savings cost.
Yeah.
Maury, are we good for questions? Any in the chat that are burning out at you before we go, and then we'll hand over?
There was Josephine did make a comment about that, just in case everyone's not reading the chat. She's just finished a book called Change: How to Make Big Things Happen. by Damon Centola. We'll send that out. I think that's a great read, she said, for all of us that are looking for a different way. And there was a point also made that we can consider the language governments or systems decide on, but not allow it to dictate to a one-size-all-fits approach. I think that's always going to be the challenge for a group that comes together, because we will all have different ideas on how to do things. And so the essence of our current problem and the reason for Open the Doors is the one-size-all-fits approach. That's some really good meat for us to really talk about in our next meeting, I think, folks, if I can finish up the questions there. Obviously, there's talk of the next meeting, which will shift to a more international friendly time. Maury, can you please explain how people join the chat? It took me a while. So just very, very quickly, you have a little button down on the side, which has a little, there's an information, then there's little people, and then there's a square box. And you push on that, it says chat with everyone, and you open up the chat like that. We'll be having a workshop.
Sign me up.
Dr. Rodney Gillick will run that workshop on how to join the chat. But Maria, let me know and I'll let you in on that. Over and out. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
So much.
Sorry. Thank you. That was great. I know. I've made lots of notes and we've got so much in the chat as well. So no, that was great. So now I'm going to pass you over to Sanal, who's going to take us through some action items and next steps. All yours, Sanal.
Hello, everyone. So moving forward, you'll be receiving a summary of today's meeting, including action items identified from today's meeting we had, and a recording of a meeting in your email. And also we'd like to interview you all, or interview whoever is interested. So it would be a great to get a short interview with as many as a few as possible to add on to Open the Doors campaign, which we have started. Your experiences, perspective, or an expertise are valuable. Your thought, your opinions, anything to change the system, to be the change, are important to capture the progress of the movement. We'll also post the link in the chat to book a time slot, and it will also be in our newsletter, which we'll be sending to you by email. We have 2 spots left for the presentation in our next meeting, which we'll be conducting next fortnight, and we are looking for volunteers. So please email Rhiannon at the following email, which you can see on the slide, and then we'll book you in.
And that's around a 10-minute presentation. Yes. So if anyone's doing something amazing that they want to share with the group and share with the rest of the world, 10 minutes presenting at the next meeting, but you also have chances to be in your own recordings, which could be the amazing topic that Diane brought up today, and then Diane Gibson on language. There'll be lots of opportunities to put your hands up to say, I'd love to be in a debate, because I was saying to my group, how many times do you meet someone on LinkedIn and you have that initial meeting? And if everybody could watch it, you learn so much. You go for an hour, you're all excited about what you do, what they do, and nobody saw it. So also we'll be doing some of that if we can get to know you, record, and capture that initial excitement, and then share it with LinkedIn, share it with the world. So it'll be a really good way also to get some of your incredible work pushed into a bigger space. So the benefits to you are twofold. You'll change the system forever, and you'll get your name out there for the incredible work you do. And I think we're moving over to Aaron.
We're a little bit ahead of ourselves. That's great. That means we can all stay to watch
the video.
So Aaron, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you. So I spent the last little while here jotting some notes down of today's meeting, just trying to get a bit of a collection together so that I could close out. So a few of the key words that I was looking at was like, this is such an amazing opportunity. It has some amazing founders. It has a collection of amazing people that are joining the program, and it's incredibly inspiring. We have already had some great discussion points brought up, as just echoing Nicole's comments there, from Diane's comments about elders, which really resonated with me, because I have quite a good understanding of that, and certainly from the First Nations perspective about that being a bit of a closed term in that space. And it really got me to thinking, because I always view the term elder as a very much a sign of respect from that viewpoint, but it can be definitely taken in another way. So it was great to hear that. It's great to have a chat about, and even have that opportunity that we might be able to lead into, have some debates and have some discussions. It was great to hear about the money side of things, and just talking about how we influence that change, and already getting to that point of money speaks. So if we can present this back and we can become that point, that we can financially sort of map out how much we're saving the health system, those ministers, those politicians are going to be coming to this program to see that change influence and to want to be part of this. So that's fantastic. Yeah, I'm just really excited, really inspired. And so to close out my side of things, wanted to speak about the time zones. So the next meeting will be Tuesday, the 21st of May at 2 p.m., which is probably the best time that we've noticed overall to meet all the different time zones. Apologies to everybody in the States or over on the America's side of the world, Canada, I'm sorry for saying America's side of the world, that it's Sunday. So we're going to move to the 21st of May, and then possibly Tuesday or Wednesday post that. We're still figuring that point out, but then we'll be we'll continue with a fortnightly structure at the moment, and then may move to quarterly meetings as that progresses. And now I would like to introduce Michael Verde for the 15-minute presentation from that side of things.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Aaron. And before I introduce Michael, I'd love to get a photo of everyone here. It's our first meeting. So if I could get everyone to turn their cameras on. If we could
Rhiannon has to shut down the slide for a moment to get us all on the screen.
And then I will grab a photo of us all, as many as we can.
Oh, we've just got 38 others. Not all of us can make it.
Yeah,
How do we expand that?
How do we do that? Rhiannon, can you see if there's a way that we can have all windows up? Or we might have to take it next time. What's that button do? I won't press the big red button.
Don't press the red button. No, press the red button. No.
Don't press the big red button. Oh, look, we might have to work that out for next time. But what I will do is just take a quick screenshot of what I can see. And so then we've got...
there's the 3 buttons down the bottom, more options. And you change the layout.
Oh,
yeah. Who's that?
Diane, we love you.
And then you can maximize
change layout.
Down the bottom.
Here we go. I've got it tiled.
Nothing's changed on my screen. What can you see?
It's on mine. It's changed on mine.
As long as it's on yours, and we take a photo on yours.
Hang on, 3 dots. I've got more than I had. Change layout.
Take one before you press the red button, and then try a second one.
I'll
take one now.
Look, I did it. Oh, look, I've got it. There's 23 people that are going to miss out, but we've gone as big as we can. Okay. Just everyone, 1, 2, 3, smile. Or should I say, open the doors?
Open the doors.
Open the doors.
Fabulous.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. Well, Rhiannon, if you want to bring back the presentation, and it was with a lot of excitement that I'm able to introduce Michael Verde, founder of Memory Bridge. Michael's in Bloomington, Indiana in the USA. Michael's going to give an introduction to him and Memory Bridge, and also introduce his beautiful animated video Superhero. And then after that, you will receive an email. We'll say goodbye, and you'll receive an email in the coming days, which will have a copy of the recording and any notes we've picked up. There will also be a feedback form for you to provide some feedback as well about things you like, things you'd like to see, and then we'll see you in a fortnight's time. So from me, thank you everyone for coming. It's just so exciting. And Michael, I'm going to pass over to you now, and the floor is yours.
Excellent. First of all, I want to just say very impressive to be a part of what I can feel in what I've heard. to have the people around the world, this degree of enthusiasm concentrated in this space, speaking the best we can toward a common kind of vision. I just want to say it's very impressive to people that conceived this and have put in the legwork to make this conversation possible at this stage of its development. So I just want to recognize that I'm honored to be here. Real quickly, Memory Bridge does work around the world with the intention of ending the emotional isolation of people with cognitive impairment. One of our initiatives is once a year to bring 12 people from around the world. We offer full scholarships to these people to come to Bloomington, Indiana for 5 days to stay at the Tibetan Buddhist Center here, which is 100 acres. It's the largest Tibetan Buddhist center in the United States. And for 5 days, each of these people are paired with a person with cognitive impairment who we meet with every day. And those experiences constitute the centerpiece of the experiential learning that takes place in the context of the retreat. People apply for this. Memory Bridge pays for everything but the travel. And next year we will have a retreat of the same kind of conception in another country. Right now, the idea is to find a retreat center either in Australia or in a place that Australians would readily go to, given the distance and time involved. What I'm about to share with you is a story that was shared with Memory Bridge as part of an application to participate in the retreat. And the story was so moving to me that I said, let's make this visible and as imaginatively rich as possible. And so the short animation is really the animation of the story of one of the people who applied to and subsequently graduated from Memory Bridge's annual training retreat. And I think that's an ample context, Monique, for starting the film.
Excellent. Well, Rhiannon will get the animation up to play. And just before we go to the animation, we'll also just want to say a big thank you to Nicole Smith. She's been the absolute driver in bringing everyone together. She has so much passion, drive. She's here for older people, people living with dementia. She's here for us, and together to be part of this, I think we're going to have an amazing adventure together. So thank you, Nicole. And if we could just give a clap, because she really did make this happen.
Well, thank you. And I really like all the emojis, but I really want to thank all the founders as well. This is incredible. And all of the new door openers. This is a project that is, for all of us now. So thank you so much for the leap of faith. Yeah. And the next leap of faith is opening those doors in 2030. Michael, thank you for sharing this video with us today. I've seen it 3 times now, and it moves me every single time. It's absolutely beautiful, and it reminds me of my father as well. I think everybody can resonate with someone in their life they've lost when they see this video, and what gets taken away with dementia, which is not often the person, it's everybody else. So, as so eloquently put. Yvonne had a question. Somebody had a question. Did I see? We've got some time. We've got a few minutes. Yvonne. No. Oh, Vicky has a question. Hi, Vicky. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yep. Hi, guys. Long time coming, that's for sure. Look, I think another great video that I recommend and I show when I do guest lecturing at uni and orientation for new staff is Amanda Waring's What Do You See? It's a 6-minute DVD as well. It's an English video. It is it's all about true person-centered care and knowing someone's story. I think it's a great compliment to Michael's.
We'll definitely look that up and we'll put that on the recommended reading list. And if anyone does have any recommended reading, I know that I've got a little list that I share. I don't know whether I've got a collection of mentors that I flick around to people, and Michael's Memory Bridge. I'm learning so much from the books that he reads, the Caregivers Library. Every fortnight I subscribe to his webinars. They're very reasonably priced. He did not ask me to do this, by the way. But yeah, you can watch his stuff, and he devours a book every fortnight and so eloquently tells us what it's all about, which makes me always buy the book. Yeah, that's a really good way to learn. And I think I've said this before, when we stop learning about people with dementia and new ways of thinking, that's a very scary place for people with dementia to be in. So we must think outside what we think we know. If we think we know everything already, we are in the deep doo-doo. And I think that's what's wrong with the current system. They think, oh, we know this, we've got this. Well, unless you're expanding your mind, looking to other countries, looking to other ways of thinking, you're not going to be able to change this system at all. So anything people recommend that has made you change your way of thinking or resonates with you, please share, so we can collate that and add it to our skill set and knowledge base. Excellent. Sorry, no, that's okay. Goodbye, everyone. This is goodbyes anyway. It's been a wonderful meeting. I'm hoping that this will be double by next fortnight. The aim is to be a virus, go viral. So please, if this resonated with you, please shout out to everyone that you know. Every person knows at least 10 other people that they can, bring to this cause. And it is a combined cause that will grow and grow and grow until we outnumber the current system that we've been prescribed to us. So thank you once again. I've loved this meeting a little bit too much, and I'm saying goodbye now. And from founders and myself, thank you so much for attending today. Bye everyone. Thank you.